Hey everybody, hope you're doing well. I was going to talk about another weed that's pretty common in our area. It's called dollar leaf weed. You'll see it looks like it's commonly described as little miniature lily pads. So that's exactly what they look like, and that's where they get their name from. They look like a silver dollar. They're about the size of a silver dollar, so that's one of the ways it gets its name. You're going to see them in all your different grass types. They really like wet, moist areas. So if you've got a area of your yard that might not drain that well, or maybe it gets hit by a couple of different zones of irrigation, or it's in a lot of shade, it's not uncommon to see this weed grow in your grass. It is considered a broadleaf weed, so you can prevent it, and you also can kill it once you get it. Some common things were like atrazine based products, or anything, any kind of 2,4-D products, anything like that. So it is actually, there's another weed called dichondra that looks very similar. One way you can tell them apart is that on the dollar leaf weed, the stem that the leaf blade actually grows on, it comes straight up and attaches into the center of the leaf, whereas with the dichondra, it comes up. Sometimes it's also called a pony's foot, because the stem comes up and then the weed kind of grows in like a little half moon around the edges of it. So but they grow in the same spots, they look very similar, they're treated very similar ways, but it's two different weeds. So just an interesting little tidbit. But if you've got a particular spot in your yard that maybe it's got weak grass growth to begin with, and maybe you're pounding it away with water, and this might be a weed that comes up, that might be the reason, because of the fact that it does do so well in really wet, moist areas, and maybe you're feeding the growth of it. So it tends to kind of fade away as we get into the really hot months. A lot of that's got to do with the fact that it starts drying out. So if you've got some, and maybe you're watering too much, and maybe you cut back on the watering, things start warming up a little bit, and it'll just kind of naturally go away. It also is a very low growing weed. It hugs the ground, so some cultural changes you can make would be cutting your grass higher than normal. And when you do that, like with a lot of other weeds, when you promote a nice, thick, healthy yard, it actually, the grass itself will kind of help choke out the weed, and the grass will have a better chance of competing against it. So anyway, that's our weed for the week. Dollar leaf weed. So here's a couple pictures. We'll give you a couple links on different products you can use to get rid of it, and also show an example of dollar leaf and dichondra side by side. So maybe you've got both, maybe you've got one or the other. But anyway, if you got any questions, just ask in the comments. Y'all have a good day.